cried the sparrow.
You're listening to the Sailing into Oblivion podcast, where we sit down with everyday people who do extraordinary things. I'm your host, Jerome Rand.
All right, everybody who's ready for part 2 of the speed run. That's what we got today. It's another string together, a bunch of segments, but this will complete this little voyage off from Fort Pierce all the way up here to the Carolinas. And yeah, it was an absolute blast, but there was definitely a bit of an emotional and exhaustion roller coaster, having just come off the sea for 16 days on Montana, then hopping aboard Sparrow and going out and having a good old time ripping up the Gulf Stream. So yeah, I do want to say, quick little caveat, the Gulf Stream is definitely nothing to be tangoed with, nothing to be toyed with at all. I had the perfect forecast for this, and even then still saw some choppy, ugly, irritated seas in some of these eddies. So ye be warned when it comes to that. Always mess around. If you're going to sail in the Gulf Stream or in the vicinity of it, make sure you have a great forecast for it, and also a good way to get out of it pretty quickly, because it can become unruly out of the blue. If you want to help support this podcast, check out the links. Got everything from Patreon to one-time donations and all the merch and stuff. SailingIntoOblivion.com for speaking stuff and ways to contact the show. I'm out of here in a few days. Going to go up to the Chesapeake Bay area, do some coaching up there for a few days, and hopefully, if things work out, meet up with Rutherford for a nice little extra edition of the Rutherford Files. Try and catch up with him before he's heading out on his next expedition up to the Great White North. So we'll see if I've just jinxed it by mentioning it or if it actually comes to fruition. So hopefully you enjoy the show. Thank you all so very much for listening and sharing the show and all that sort of stuff. Here we go with part 2. Okay. Welcome to Midnight Edition. That is not an exaggerated yawn, because I just woke up. We got a ship on the horizon. CPA of 2 nautical miles, which is good. We've left the stream. The seas have smoothed out, and I am so tired. I would happily give many fortunes away to just be able to hop back in that bunk and fall back asleep for 8 more hours. That's not happening. And this is a reality. A true reality of life alone at sea, or even with other people, because to the west and west northwest of our position lie some little burgs called Jacksonville, Savannah, Georgia, and Charleston. And these are 3 very heavy shipping ports. So it's kind of like, if you remember maybe when you're a kid and you're outside and you're in the woods and you find that there's a beehive or a hornet's nest somewhere. And, you know where it is. You figure out, all right, it's over there. I'm not going to be able to delete this nest, so I'm just going to have to be aware. So it's like that summer where there was that one nest, and so you tried to avoid that place. But every once in a while, you had to cruise on by it. So you were a little heightened, and that's where I am right now. Oh, my gosh. So tired. Wow. I will get back to sleep here in a bit, which is nice. But it being 1:30 in the a.m. on April 20th. It's kind of nice, actually, to go take a gander outside. We got some lovely stars. The quarter moon should be rising very shortly, which isn't going to do much. I'm not going to lie. That's a pretty tiny moon. Oof! We've got the giant drifter. We've got full mainsail. We did have the Dodger folded down forward. We're an open boat. It's awesome. I like doing that because it gives you this full view of the ocean. It's kind of, and I understand when trout, the land fish, shout out to Aton. When he talks about not having Dodger on his boat, I know, I get it. Like, I know why that's kind of cool. I just like the ability to unfold it and be protected from the spray. I'm so tired. I feel like breaking into song. Welcome to the ocean. We got fun and games. I was listening to a little Guns N' Roses. Brings me back. That brings me back. Yeah, I don't know. The game plan right now, probably. Oh, because the trip is short. Sorry. Hey, yawns are going to happen on the late night watches. Because the trip is short, it might be one of those things where I make a cup of coffee just so I can go do a little stargazing, not miss out on it. I mean, obviously, if I could, if I wasn't alone, and even though I am alone, I could, do my checks, make sure everything's all copacetic up top, and then head back down to the bunk for another hour or so of sleep, and then another check, and then another hour back and forth. But I have a feeling those stars now are just so insane that I'm going to want to go sit up there. So, a nice piping hot cup of Joe is, I think, in my future. And I've got to do a little trim because I've come too far off the wind. And it's still the seas are big enough that we're still getting rocked and rolled. And I can hear it doing that right now. So, obviously, we've got another short little check-in, but more to come. More to come. Let me attend to my sales because that is my job. And if I'm not doing that, what the heck am I doing? Good morning. We are currently going through one of these Gulfstream rips. One of these small eddy, violent counter-current things. And man, it is lumpy. I mean, it's almost to the comical point where the sea is so unsettled. Now, granted, these waves are no bigger than 3 feet. But even a choppy, disturbed 3-footer is enough to bounce your boat around like something else. Oh, my goodness. Oh, jeez. And they don't last very long, thankfully. Usually it's only about 5-10 minutes before the sea then returns to its previous state. But yeah, this one we just entered 5 minutes ago, and I am patiently waiting, drinking my delicious quadruply filtered coffee. Oh, jeez. I don't know if you can hear the cacophony of noise outside, but luckily there's some breeze. We got the drifter, we got the mainsail. We're pretty much on a broad reach,
just trying to eke our way off of this wind and get out of the stream. Unfortunately, but fortunately, we're doing 9.9 knots, so obviously we're still in some chunk of the stream, even though on the forecast we're well clear of it. But it's, it's propelling us. We're going to actually later on today go for a nice little jibe-a-rooski and then start heading our way in towards land, which it's crazy. It's only 96 miles away or something. So we've done well. And when I calculated my midnight to midnight run, are you prepared? I am. 224.9 nautical miles. How's that for exact? So I'm going to round that down for error to 224, which is a shade more miles than my previous record of 212 miles. My goodness. We are just bashing through this slop. If this were the case for the next 10 hours, I'd be a little perturbed, if you will. That's delicious. No, I'd just come up with a different plan. But I think it's starting to settle already. We had a couple ships last night, nothing fancy. I got a couple rounds of sleep, made some mac and cheese in the middle of the night. Really wasn't all that... I wasn't that hungry like I am now. And that's making me think about breakfast. But yeah, I don't know. I was kind of like, I feel like cooking something. I watched a movie on the mainsail. Or I tried to. Unfortunately, my little projector is on its last legs. The buttons aren't working really well, and by midway through the perfect storm, we were ready to turn it off and call it. Plus, it was one of those where the conditions weren't 100% perfect for it. The winds were good, but it was the swell was still up just enough so that the mainsail had to slat every once in a while. And honestly, to make that such, because a movie on the mainsail while you're out at sea is such a neat thing, lesson learned. I'm not going to do it unless it is absolutely perfect, because I don't want anything to take away from that experience. I've only done it, you can count it on two hands now, how many times I've ever been able to do that out at sea. And, they're special. They're really special times. I remember quite well a couple of them that were just super memorable, mostly because the moon was out as well, and it was just a beautiful scene. But yeah, so we've been doing a lot of stuff and I'm trying to squeeze it all in because it's such a short trip. And I'm going to be on land tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to that. The nice part about making landfall literally 2 days, if not 3 days earlier than I thought, is that that's going to give me some time for a little Sparrow TLC, which is, it's pretty badly needed. I need to gut a few of these things. I'm looking at my grab bag, and there's like mold all over it, and it's old, and I know the zippers don't work all that well, so that's got to go. I got to get a replacement of that. We're gonna have to invest a little quiche, a little dash into the old boat, just to prep things up. But one of the big things is I'm taking the ceiling, the false ceiling, or that's not a false ceiling. I'm taking the ceiling out in the forward cabin, and I'm going to inspect that because I have a feeling the wood that's underneath that is just absolutely drenched with rot and mold. So, yeah, it's time. We got to just I want to rip all that out and replace it all. I don't know how big of a project that's going to be, but we're going to find out. I don't even know what's actually underneath there. The rest of the boat has like, I don't know, it's like 1/4 inch or something like that, plywood, and that is up there essentially for to be able to give the wires and things like that space to run. And if it's the same up forward, and there's been a lot of water intrusion over the years through the cap rail and all that sort of stuff, then yeah, I can see how all that be moldy. But I would think it's crazy because I didn't know. I would think that saltwater intrusion into an area would be detrimental. Jeez. More coffee. Delicious. Yeah, because I mean, like salt. Isn't that one of the things the ancient Roman soldiers would do or something, where after they destroyed some place, they'd salt the land so that you couldn't grow anything. I don't know, maybe mold is a little more vivacious, a little more bold, if you will. Who knows? I'm speaking out of my keister here. But anyway, we're gonna pull all that out. We're gonna check that out because I'll have a couple of days. I really got to attend to this cap rail. As far as the varnish goes, I'm just gonna strip off as much of it as I can. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm excited. It'll be kind of nice. It'll be kind of nice just to not move either, like to chill a little bit, to have a hot second to just sit, collect my thoughts, pontificate, or no, not ponder the world around me, make some more phone calls. Got a really interesting email while I was out there. And I don't know if I've talked about it, but one of the things that I like to do is I love speaking at assisted living communities. And I had somehow hooked into one that was a real fancy one. So, the paycheck was good and all that sort of stuff. But then I started inquiring to other ones, because I learned that most of these communities have like a big theater in their place, like a movie theater style thing, and it's like a captive audience, and people in that generation right now definitely understand and appreciate a voyage like I did, and so I actually started inquiring around whenever I would get some big gigs or something like that, and have not have. One of the tough parts about what I do is that sometimes like a month or two will go by and I haven't done one, and it's just, you got to break the rust off. And so what I'll do is I'll go and call up some of the ones within 100 miles of my place, or wherever I am, and go and do some of those, sometimes for free, sometimes if they can afford like $100 or something like that, awesome, perfect. Or I'd just go and sell some books. And I kind of consider it a little bit of like community outreach, but also for me, really, it's just a way to practice. Get one or two presentations under the belt before a big show, and so everybody benefits. But I got an email from someone about their company owns a bunch of these high-end ones. I believe the term they used was affluent, and so we're going to get on the horn this week, and hopefully, there was one that I went to where one of the ladies who was doing the marketing said, you could probably do this for a year straight, just traveling the country. And honestly, I'm game. I'm totally game. I think that would be awesome to just go and do that, and you get to meet these fascinating people and hear their stories as well. Because holy cow, I'll tell you, you run into all these people who were in the Navy, who did all these things, it just blow your mind from way back in the day. These, a lot of these people, they were in their 20s and stuff. 60 years ago, and different times and stuff. But in any event, yeah, we'll have to sort of see. But very excited about that because that would be really, really cool. Big opportunity there. If I don't blow it, if we can come to an accord. And I don't leave too much money on the table, but also don't scare them off. That's always kind of my ooh, how am I going to play this one? But that being said, I'm excited. So we're going to kick back. We're going to chill. I cannot wait to see Cape Fear. I have always wanted to check this place out. The name alone conjures, obviously, Robert De Niro in that movie, Cape Fear. It was De Niro and the guy from 48 Hours. Shoot, right? I think. I can't remember. Nick Nolte. Yeah. Brain is working. Check. Golly, I cannot believe people like to listen to me ramble at sea. Although I have to say, I was listening to, I was like, I'm gonna give a good heartfelt listen to one of my podcasts, just to see, just get the experience. Try and listen to it as a listener, and man, I really got to cut the intro down. It's ridiculous. It's like a quarter podcast to just explain what I'm about to talk about or who I'm talking to on the podcast. Yeah. Self-critique, I think, is a very, very good thing. And I don't know. I know I definitely need to still always plug the links in the description, but I think that's all I have to do. I don't think I have to go on and like I always say. I think I could just say, hey, if you want to help support this show, check the links in the description. There's a lot of different ways to do it. And then, boom. I think my goal, at least we're going to try it for the next few episodes, is going to be to get the intro under 90 seconds. I love that. 90 seconds. We used to have this term, if you screwed up in the boatyard up in Maine, 90 days. That's what you get. You're out of here for 90 days. That's your breather. That's your throttle back period. Wow. We're all sudden hooning. I think, I'm going to do a little check. Doing a check? Oh, what's going on out here? Woo! Oh, man. Yeah. Awesome sauce. We're moving so well. Oh, we got a good breeze. I am faced with a tactical decision at the moment where we have essentially wind coming from the southwest and destination lies almost due north of us. Now, I can't, if I jibe right now, it's so deep due north. It'd be such a deep broad reach, I wouldn't be able to hold it. I'd essentially have to pull out my staysail, thus losing sail area. But then I'd be able to head directly towards my destination. We do have some stream current going on, so I'm going to get swept the other way. But the other is to continue my path, drifter, bashing through, lovely sailing, and then jibe, and then be headed pretty much directly towards where my destination. And, I kind of have a feeling that because I can't go super deep broad reach without losing it, and I don't have a spinnaker. Dang it. No spinnaker. My kingdom for a spinnaker. I don't know. I'm pretty sure in my head it's going to be faster to just head straight for it, but the sailing will be less desirable, if you will. And I think one of the big themes on this last voyage aboard Montana, and I remember I kept saying it to Mark was, you always want to take into account comfort while you're out here, when you're trying to figure out direction, sail plan, all that sort of stuff. Sometimes you're going to need to just bash your way through it. But if you don't have to do something like that, then, hey, if the boat's heeling over like crazy, let's pop a reef in. I know we're going fast, but let's pop a reef in, see how that feels. And we were both in accord where it was essentially like, we want to keep the boat safe, well-maintained, all that sort of stuff, which reminds me, I got to do my morning check. I turned the mic on before my due diligence, my morning check to look for screws and bolts, loose pins, any of that sort of stuff. I wonder, I wonder if when we had the rudder for the hydro blade become disconnected the last night, I wonder if there was a visual. I mean, it would have been so hard to see, but a visual could have been made. I wonder how long that pin was out. But that's why we do our morning checks. That's why we do them really, really diligently and make sure we check over every single screw and pin, get eyes on it, get hands on it, and that is going to help very, very much prevent catastrophic failure of equipment out at sea. Because the big thing is you just don't want it to happen at the wrong time, and it's going to want to try and do that because Murphy's Law rules out here. It truly, truly rules. And on that note, I'm going to go do my morning check. I'm going to scope everything. I'm going to do an extra good one today. And then I'm going to come up with a new game plan. And once I have my destination and plan in mind, then I'll probably try and do a bit more of a long form one, maybe. I don't know if I'm feeling it. If not, we're just going to keep rolling, and I'm going to condense all these into 1 or 2 episodes. All right, till next time. And we are back. Yes, we have just completed our one maneuver for the trip, a jibe, and I should say our first maneuver. Other than this, all we've done is sheet in and out, change a few sails, and that was the first actual big thing. Luckily, with jibing this boat, especially when I'm doing the downwinder, it's pretty simple. Before I get into that, we're going to have a celebratory lunchtime brewski, but caveat here. When I did the Instacart, shout out Instacart, love that stuff. I was in there and I was trying. I could not edit my cart. I couldn't figure out how to do it once I had actually pressed the confirm button. And I'm kind of looking through it. And again, I put together my cart, one rum punch cocktail and 16 days at sea sort of mental abilities at that point. And, there was this thing, and it was on there. It was a 12-pack of Peroni, Nastro Azzurro Italiana beer. And the only problem is it was freaking like $20 or whatever for a 12-pack. So I was desperately trying to, obviously it was a mistake. I was trying to get it off of there, but lo and behold, we could not. So we have 12 of these bottled beers. And let's just see what we're dealing with here. Oh, that's good. That's not bad. That's got like the real beer flavor. And I'm not doing any disservice or throwing shade on BLs, because BLs they're going to be my beer until my dying day. But this is a good treat. I like it. It's not too heavy.
I've definitely never been. I can't stand IPAs or any of that stuff. It's just way too much flavor. It's like I'm a dark chocolate guy, not a Hershey, if you will. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. But we are flying along now, thankfully, and underneath the chemtrails. These planes are everywhere up here. It looks like a Excel spreadsheet up there in the sky right now. Not that I think that they're spreading. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I love listening to conspiracy theories and stuff, and I have my own kind of weird opinions about a lot of that sort of stuff. But yeah, it did. It kind of looked like a it looked like a spreadsheet. There were so many lines up there. It's a beautiful day. We've got sun. We've got some wind. The forecast looks good. We have left the Gulf Stream in our wake. Thank goodness, by the way, because it was just getting kind of stupid with all the rips and the jostling. You know, every hour or so we'd go through another big rip current and bounced around like crazy, slatting sails. Now we have silence. Can you hear any of that? No. I can't either because it's not happening. If this wind holds up, I definitely see another movie night in my future. Oh. And I may, depending on the condition, I might whip out the big projector. I have my projector for doing presentations, just in case I need to bring the whole accoutrement. The only problem is this thing definitely is going to eat electricity, like for breakfast. And I don't know where I'd mount it. Can't really mount it. You have to set it down somewhere. So I don't think I'm going to actually use that one. But we got the other one. Maybe give that another shot. See if it has one last movie in it. That's definitely on the list. I want to get a new one, small one. You know, obviously it doesn't have to be the greatest picture. It just has to be bright enough. So that I can see the movies, but also nice and small so that I can mount it on like a GoPro sort of mount and be able to throw that on the gallows, because then you get a good, 8-foot screen, maybe a little bigger on the main. That being said, we are heading almost directly for port. I can't believe this. This trip's like already over. What the heck? I want to just go. I want to go back out. I'm already missing the ocean, and I'm still on the ocean. Oh, geez Louise. Okay. 77 miles. We've got an ETA at this current rate of what? Midnight tonight. Oh, it is only... Oh, man. Yikes. That's not going to work. I don't want to pull there. I don't want to pull in there at night. I've never been to this place. Although it does look like a pretty easy per cheesy sort of inlet. Let's take a gander at when we're actually going to be. Let's see. It's flooding, and let's see. 8 p.m. What's Sunday? Today is Saturday? No. Today is Sunday. So it's flooding in. Oh, yeah, shoot. Because my big thing is I just want to arrive there at high tide, because I think the slip that I have is a little shallow. Sparrow's going to nestle into the mud this season. Yeah, I think it would be much better to arrive tomorrow morning around 10-ish, which is great. It's actually, that works out really well. Because obviously you can get within said mileage of shore, and then we're going to hove to, get some sleep, and kick back and relax. Because, yeah, I've done that so many times where I end up, chugging up some inlet in the middle of the night, sleep deprived. It's not safe. It's not fun. you're all a bag of nerves. As easy as these iPads and Navionics and all that sort of stuff make it, it's still, if you're going to make a mistake, it's when you can, when you're tired and groggy and it's nighttime and the moon's not out and you're just going off all these lights and I don't have a depth sounder, blah, 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 blah. Although, the depth sounder thing, let's just take a moment with that for a second. A depth sounder, I think, is really, really great when you are trying to find a place to anchor and you're trying to like nudge up to a shoal or something like that, or at least just gauge, how much chain you're going to put out and all that sort of stuff, what your scope, if you will, is going to be. Other than that, I don't think really, it's sort of one of those things where, like, even if you're chugging away on the intracoastal and all of a sudden you see, like, if you're looking at the depth gauge and all of a sudden it starts shallowing way up real quick, and I suppose like an alarm goes off, maybe you can have the wherewithal to, or the forethought to be able to maneuver away from it getting shallower. But chances are it's too late already. So it's basically, it's almost, I think of it as a device that's going to tell you are going to run aground in a matter of seconds. And there's nothing you can do about it, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Honestly, because I don't have one and I've really never had them, I probably shouldn't even speak on it. Not going to lie. When I go and anchor in murky water and I don't know exactly what the depth is, I tie a wrench to a line and I do soundings around the boat, and then I know how deep it is. And I'm just estimating. There's no rulers involved. I do the old fingertip to fingertip spread eagle with my arms. That's 6 feet. And call it good there. But, yeah. Got my second solar panel sitting here on the floor. Cabin soul, if you will. And I don't know. I don't think it's doing anything. I think it's broken. I'm going to test it, obviously, once I could probably test it right now, actually. I have my multimeter. It just doesn't seem... We didn't get to... We got to like 13.4 on the volts or something last night. I don't know. I'm going to have to check the settings. I really want my old solar setup back where I've got 220 up there right now. The permanent panel. I want more. I just want it to get up to float charge. Right now we're sitting at 12.9, and I feel like, although the fridge is on, so I feel like we should be at 13. I want to be at 13. No, I want to see 13.8. I want to see 14, honestly, by the end of the day. I like that float charging. But sometimes the numbers aren't adding up between my little display. Oop, fridge just kicked on. Oh, I definitely owe Mark an apology. We're discussing a lot about electronics and stuff and power usage on the last voyage. And I had claimed very incorrectly that I was only drawing about 2 to 3 amps when my fridge and everything is going. No, I was wrong. It's 5 amps. When my fridge is on, my AIS is on, I got some fans on, I'm drawing 5 amps. So, sorry. I was incorrect. And Mighty Sparrow is a bit more power hungry than I assumed. I was kind of boasting, thinking like, oh, look at me, the purist, in all my glory. I only draws 2 amps. Feeling a little high and mighty because we were drawing, I don't know what we were drawing on that boat, but Montana's got an awesome fridge. It's got a huge cooling plate and all that sort of stuff. And then the not Navionics, but the chart plotters and stuff, multi-screen. It's pretty dope. It's an awesome setup as far as the tech and the systems, but that comes at a cost. And
they're mitigating that with solar panels, just the same as I am here aboard Sparrow. But I think in the past I had like 300 watts up top with the 2 panels, and I don't know, this flexible panel, I don't think it's supposed to be 180, but man, I don't think it's even close. I'm going to test it out. We'll see how many watts we're pumping today. Nice part is I can just take it up on deck, put it in the sun, plug the multimeter in, and it'll at least let me know if it's generating power. Knowing how to use some of these tools is definitely it's a real key component. I so rarely use the multimeter that it seems like every single time I have to check something, I'm like, oh, I gotta go to YouTube. I gotta do another little deep dive, which, hats off. Cheers to YouTube for being the ultimate resource for information on the planet. I'm not gonna lie, it's really, really good because you can get so specific too. It's like whenever I'm doing anything on the Perkins, it's like Perkins 4108 marine diesel engine overheating, and just hundreds of videos come up. It's great, and that it honestly makes me want to, or at least it makes me a little more feel more validated. No, I feel like I'm adding to that, especially when it comes to the educational series stuff with the old YouTubes, the old Sailing into Oblivion channel, where, trying to explain reefing, explain why I do things this way and that way, because, it's reference. It's reference for other sailors out there. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to plug this one up. It's a little shorty, but I'm going to go enjoy the rest of this beer up on deck, and then I'm going to go might do my noon sight, because right now the noon sights should be around 1:15 for predicted noon. So we'll sort of dial into that, but till the next round. And we're back once again. We got spiders on the boat. Little ones. Don't know where they came from. Don't know where their nest is, but there's a bunch of little itty bitty spiders. I keep seeing them. Keep seeing them scurrying around when I lift up things, trying to do a little cleaning. So obviously we got to do a deep dive into that. Mighty Sparrow has had many an infestation. No more so than your old pal J-Rome. I've been infesting this boat for years. What a wonderful day this is turning out into. Oh, Cape Fear. A mere, I think, 40-something miles away. This is remarkable. 54 nautical miles. And we are headed, not quite at it, but we also don't want to try to take a roundabout way so I can add some time. I don't want to get there until about noonish tomorrow, which means I've got to kill about 6 hours somewhere, which shouldn't be too hard. The winds are going to get lighter, so we're going to slow down. But yeah, I'm actually kind of really happy as far as, as being able to enjoy one more night out here on the high seas before heading back into land. And then there's part of me that's like, let's just get in there, get on the dock and start working our stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those where I know I definitely have to get in there at high tide. And high tide's going to be around 1 p.m. tomorrow, if my little navionics thingy is to be believed. I'm going to try and hustle into that inlet on the flood, which will carry me in and carry me over and safely deliver me to the slip. Mighty Sparrow's new home for a little while. Oh, man. Other than that, we've been doing a little cleaning. We've been doing a little shuffling. I'm kind of was rewiring one little set of lights. I have these accent lights here in the kind of, they're tucked behind the handrail. Like I've always been a lighting sort of guru is definitely the wrong term because I have no expertise in it, but I do know how to light a room. No, scratch that. I'm an expert at lighting. I like lighting. I like lighting for ambiance. And behind these handrails, the nice part is you can see the light that is created, but you cannot see the source, which I think is a very important aspect of almost all lighting. Is like lights should illuminate an area, but you shouldn't. The idea of, think of it this way. You walk into a room and there's a bare 100-watt light bulb hanging from the ceiling with no shade on it. It's like, oh, geez. All right. Welcome to this little scary place. No, we want nice directed light to reflect back. I know it's probably not the most efficient way to use electricity, but I am an electricity farm. I am farming it from the big bright sun, so I can use and lose my electricity without too much thought. Don't jibe. Come on, what's going on, Sparrow? No. It's getting light, and there's a bit of a following swell, so we have one of these issues where because we're kind of like beam reaching, broad reaching, and the wind blade for the Aries is essentially perpendicular to the boat. So when we surge down one of these swell, the induced wind pushes it backwards, which in turn tries to turn Mighty Sparrow downwind even further, which in turn matches up with more induced wind, which in turn turns us further off the wind, i.e. way too far off the wind. So it's one of the little idiosyncrasies that we deal with on a daily basis here. Funny fact, though, it only happens on a port tack on this boat. And the only thing I can figure is that there is a skew or a I don't know, the rudder for the wind vane for Mongo's tail, if you will, is I don't want to say it's cocked one way or the other, but it's offset a little bit. I can't get it 100% straight. The teeth for the gear and everything for the servo pendulum or whatever it is, that is not, it's very industrious. It's like 5 different teeth, and you can't really adjust it a whole lot, but we work with it, we adapt, and we push forward, right? That's the name of the game. Yeah, other than that, it's been good. This has just been like the most relaxing, super chill. I woke up from my nap, and I'm hearing luffing, but funny luffing. Not full sail luffing, like top of the sail luffing, as if you have way too much twist in your sail. It's coming from the drifter, and I know this drifter's old, it's used, and I can hear it in this rhythm of like, oh no, I think it's shredded. I think it finally let go up top. Lo and behold, we just had a little wrap ski around the forestay, so I just headed up into the wind a little bit, powered up the big old belly of that sail, and unwrap she did. Thank goodness, because it's funny. I don't know if anybody's ever experienced like a full-on wrap from like a spinnaker, because these drifters are the same material. They can bind down so tight that you can't get them down. They just cling on to that wire for the shroud so tight that they're almost embedding themselves in it. And then you have this big hourglass thing going on. But the true issue is that you can't, you could let go of the halyard and that top part might flail,
but the rest of it's not moving at all, and it can become quite a dangerous situation where essentially I think the only thing you can do in that situation is you would let go of the halyard and you would let go of the guy in the sheet or the tack line, whatever it is, and just let it luff itself into shreds, I guess. I mean, you're just hoping that the crazy luffing and vibration isn't gonna, I don't know, take the rig down. I don't know. It's such an odd thing. Like whenever you get a wrap with your spinnaker around a forestay, like deal with it immediately. Like that's a no joke situation. I've only ever had it bind down on me once, as I was sailing from Dominica to the British Virgin Islands and over the Saba Bank. Stupid move on my part. This was back in the days when I was still trying to learn how to do kind of ocean sailing, and the winds went light, the swell was up, and I was like, "Whoa! I just need to throw more sail up." Well, there's a nuance to that where you can't exactly just be like, "I'm going to throw more sail up and that'll solve it." No, I threw an asymmetrical spinnaker up, which then proceeded to get absolutely punished, because there was not enough wind to outwit the swell and the motion of the mast. And, you know, I've learned a whole lot about that sort of stuff over the years. And I think I'm getting pretty good at gauging when you can do something and when you can't, when it's going to be effective and when it's not. I still like to just try and experiment and see if it works. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, well, that's not so great, but at least we tried it. I don't ever want to get to that point where I'm like, no, this won't work. Definitely won't work. Trust me. I'm like that with a couple of things. Windsurfing in particular, where I just know when there's enough wind to do it, and I know when there's not enough, and depending on the sail size I have, and I'm just like, no. But I've learned that lesson so many times, the absolute most frustrating and most difficult way, whereas you set everything up, you throw it in the water, you kind of go out there and you're like, and it's a physical and mental, it's a physical and a mental exercise of complete and utter frustration when you're standing on this board and you're just about ready to plane, but you can't because there's not enough wind, and now you're balancing and it's really hard to hold up the sail. I mean, windsurfing, when you get up to a certain kind of level with it, where you're planing and you're in the harness and you're just juicing around, it's actually not physically demanding, but getting up to that point, it sure as heck is. So, in any event, that old saying I have, in any event, we forge forth out on the open sea, heading to the Cape that is scary. Cape Scary. Oh, man. Very, very cool. I'm super excited. Boat's looking good. Sparrow's doing well. It'll be interesting to see how the engine goes. I checked the sea strainer. Sea strainer was fine. And I am kind of hesitating whether or not I want to inspect the impeller or any of that. Maybe what I'll do is just run the engine today or tonight. And see, I mean, like I said, the temperature gauge was just a little higher than it normally sits. Water's pretty warm in Florida. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be one of those things where I often catch myself in this situation where it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's not out of laziness, but it's out of like my tinkering mind, where I'm kind of like, ooh, that was a little iffy. It's going to be like a 2-mile motor. Well, it's probably going to be more than that, but I'm in a motor for a while, and I sure as heck wouldn't want anything to happen. Well, nothing happened last time when I motored out of the inlet, and she was just fine. It was just a little oddly ticked up. So maybe not tear apart everything while you're out here, and then because my biggest fear is that I get full on engine failure, have to call CTO, which I am not a member of, and so costly mistake. Or with the wind direction though, I'm pretty sure I could probably sail all the way into the inlet and to the marina, and onto the dock. So. Oh, we'll have to see if we're going to test those skills. No, we're definitely not. Betsy, the blue-eyed bullet, my Perkins 4108, is going to do wonderful. I believe in her. I've checked her fluids, her belts. Everything is looking good. We need to change I get a lot of black debris and dust off of the alternator belt. Because it's, I don't know why exactly it's like rubbing against the sides or something like that, and obviously a little automatic transmission fluid gets into the old oil blanket down below, because it's kind of hard to pour into that hole all the way back there. But other than that, she is looking pretty good. I'm going to clean that engine room up nice, neat, and tidy. Yet again, I got a kind of a pile of old oil filters and all that stuff. I'm turning into a bit of a junkyard on board, which I definitely need to address. I need to clear it out, folks. We are going to do a full revamp. And then we're going to do some varnish work. And then, no, the list goes on. Like I could sit here and list out like 150 things that I would love to do on Old Mighty Sparrow. Oh God, she's just such a great boat. It's pretty funny though. Having gone from Montana to this boat, there's just little differences, right? It's obviously pretty much same sort of layout down below and everything, but like the barometer is on a different side of the boat. And so I keep, for my logbook, I keep kind of wandering. Oh, no, it's over there. And I keep looking for the fifth stair on the staircase going up the companionway, because mine only has 4. And what was the other one? There was something else. Nah, the head was fine. Because the head on this one, when you're seated, you face forward, and on Montana, when you're seated, you face aft. And I don't know. Other than that, though, chilling on my settee, my couch over here is pretty nice because it's like a full-size one. I definitely enjoy that. And the nav station. Nav station's gigantic. That's where I'm sitting right now, and I love it. But yeah, other than that, I'm going to enjoy the rest of the afternoon, peeling through my book a little bit, and yeah, that's about it. Modge Podge. Let the Modge Podge of podcasts continue. Till next time. Check. Oh, man. We are currently ghosting along the entrance channel to Cape Fear. We have made it. Holy cow, I am so tired. Oh, man. Slept a little bit, got a couple naps in yesterday, and then last night the wind started getting fickle. Watched a movie again on the screen and all that, but just could not get to sleep afterwards. Maybe got like an hour tops, and then sort of in a fog, I'm looking at distances, ETAs, high tides, all that sort of stuff, and I'm like, oh man, I need to get in there so I can catch the tide right. And we had been just ghosting on a vapor, barely moving, and I had to finally turn the engine on, motor the rest of the way. Probably for the last almost 6 hours I had to motor. Now the winds kind of came up, and at least I get to sail the last little, I don't know, 5 miles, something like that, to get right into the channel. And then it's another 2 miles or something down, and there's the dock, and I'm going to tie off and then collapse. I'm just... Oh man, I know I should go in and get fuel. I have decent mount, but I'd like to top her up. But right now, I think the best thing to do is get onto the dock and just get some sleep. Wow, I am tired. But I'm also excited. Can't wait to get in there. I'm seeing the beaches. I see land. There's a big ship that just passed by. Back in the distance, the entrance marker is one of those ones that has the automatic sort of horn that kind of, as it goes up and down, it's like, wah, wah. It's pretty cool. Yeah, but other than that, it's been a riot. This has been a super fun trip. Essentially 3 days, start to finish, or just under, which I'm definitely super stoked on. Those the big milers, can't argue with that. That is for sure. But yeah, just a blast. Like we had a great weather window up until the last bit, and just fun sailing. Nice to be back on Sparrow. Nice to be back out in the sea, toying with the Gulf Stream. That got a little frustrating with all those rips, but those are always kind of interesting to see if they're not bouncing you around quite so bad. It does, though. It strikes a little chord of fear in me, though, when I see that, and I think to myself, well, what if these waves were, 15, 20 feet? How absolutely chaotic, insane, dangerous that would be. And yeah, it just reminds me that the Gulf Stream is not a thing to be toyed with. Make sure you got that good weather window, and everything looks all on the up and up, because man, just seeing how upset the surface of the sea would get in pretty tame conditions is rather shocking. So ye be warned. Other than that, though, oh man, I am I am so tired. We're slowly kind of doing all the little things. Oh, don't start slatting now. Got the fenders out, got the dock lines, trying to get all that stuff prepped, because once I'm in this, I got to be sort of focused. It looks like a pretty easy peasy channel and everything to get into. Pretty wide open, the beginning part, and then you hit up the ICW for the remainder, but the marina's right there. So, yeah. Yep. It's hard for me to come up with a whole lot. I want to kind of like cap this off, but I suppose if I'm really going to cap it off, I'll do it when we're on the dock. But this will be the last installment from the good old sea, the belly of the ocean, the big, beautiful blue. It's kind of cloudy today. Oh, geez. I'm going to have to get a preventer on there. Oh, imagine listening to that for, days on end. Oof. Never fun, the old slatting sails, but it is a fact of life, unfortunately, out here. There's the reds, and there's the greens. I think I'm going to change my course a little bit. See if we can heat it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Little course change. Try and heat up my angle of attack with this wind. Oh, jeez. Got to see some dolphin action last night too. That was pretty cool. Always is. They came hunting around when I turned the movie on. And there was some fishing boat out there. And well, who knows? I mean, if you're on a fishing boat, you're not really looking around. You are working your tail off, but if they had peeped over, they would have seen a pretty funny sight. Old Captain Ron out there. Oh God, that movie is just so funny. I love just that whole idea of yeah, boss. Yeah, the sun comes up every day, boss. All right, I'm just rambling at this point, which is no good for anybody. So we'll check back in once we're on the dock.
Oh my goodness gracious. We are we are on the dock. We made it by the skin of our teeth. We made it. I don't know what happened with Betsy, the blue-eyed bullet, my Perkins 4108, but it started to kind of make a little bit of it felt like it was struggling a little bit, and let's just crack into one of those two right now, and yeah, it was kind of like every once in a while, just a little. And not a big deal. You know, I've had plenty of issues. There were a few times where I would be motoring in towards Buford and physically have to keep the engine hatch open so that I could go down below and pump the little lift pump to get fuel through to the actual engine every 2 to 5 minutes. So I figured if I can handle that struggle, consider this is over like a 20-mile motor up the St. Helena Sound and all that sort of stuff. What a nightmare that was. But yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of listening to it. I'm like, and I had a motor. I motored probably probably 8 or 9 hours today, unfortunately, when I woke up at about 4 and figured that I needed to get moving and in there, totally becalmed. We just fired it up and we went for it. And I was able to shut her down for a little bit and sail. I think that was that one little 5-minute segment where I brought the microphones on deck and was so tired. Oh, my goodness, like I was fatigued. I think like everything caught up with me at that point. You know, the previous trip, and I don't know. You kind of just need a bit of recovery. You just need it. Like at my age, even when I was younger, I would have needed it for sure. I just think it was. The fact that the day in between the two trips was pretty chaotic as far as trying to schedule things didn't help. But neither here nor there. We're still alive. We're still plugging away. But yeah, I'm literally motoring down the last little fairway of the Intracoastal, and I mean, geez, talk about the fear of Murphy's Law coming into effect. I turn one of the last corners before I'm about to get out of the main channel, and I'm looking way down, a couple miles down, and there's a gigantic, 1,000-foot container ship that's coming down. And I have to cut across this channel. And I'm just thinking, now's the time. This is when it's going to do it, and this is when the engine's just going to cut out. And I got no outs. I got nothing. I'm going to be drifting here. I'm going to be, I'm going to end up in this worst possible scenario. So these are the things that are going through my mind. I'm just trying to hold it together, and I make the turn, and I get out of there. So I'm like, all right, good. And then, yeah, that's when the engine started doing the old rrr. And I'm watching, I can see where the marina is, and I'm like, ooh, we can just, a little bit longer. We got this. Because I was going to pull in this morning to the first marina and fuel up. I have plenty of fuel, but I think there is an issue. I don't know if one of my tanks isn't. There might be a blockage or something. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do a little outsourcing, but I feel like we were drawing off of one tank instead of two, and
essentially, I think the one tank is almost bone dry. But I've said that before a million times, and then I go and I look and I measure it with the dipstick, and it's you got plenty of fuel in there. So who knows? But I forgoed stopping in to get fuel. I probably shouldn't have, but I was just so tired. I was like, get me into that dock. I just want to collapse into my bunk, which is what I did. As soon as I tied off here, I think I walked around on the earth for about 10 minutes and then came right back and put the shades in the windows or in the portholes, and just like that bed felt so good. It was amazing. Oh, it felt so good. It was so soft and it was clean, and I was like, oh yay. Like I peeled back the sheets because on this trip it was so warm. I was just basically lying on top of everything, and I had a blanket on there that had been, on the boat the whole time I was gone and stuff. So I was just kind of laying on top of that. But this time, crank it all back. And I've got new sheets. Oh man, I was like, have you ever done that where you're so tired, you are just to the point of collapse, and you finally do get in bed, and you like lay down, and I get like the giggles because I'm so just happy about being in bed, and I just start like giggling like yes, and that lasts I don't know about 2 minutes before I absolutely fell asleep, and then I kind of woke up, did not know where I was, didn't know what was going on, a little bit of confusion for sure, but then sorted it out that I was not underway anymore. And then went right back to bed, and but it was a bit of a time warp. It was weird. I thought it felt like I slept for hours, but it had only been like an hour or two at a time. So kind of weird. Who knows? But yeah, the slip is great. This marina is awesome. Tiny little spot, and we are Mighty Sparrow for the first time. She no longer has a virgin keel. We are in the mud right now, and luckily we are straight up and down. I think the tide has gone to its fullest out, but we are high and dry, and we're straight up and down. Sparrow's going to spend the next couple of months creating a massive hole right next to this pier, and we're on the T head and everything, so it's great. I don't know. It's really awesome. It's really quiet here though. I'm only here for a couple of days, but this isn't a marina where there's like a community living here or anything like that. And so definitely a quiet little place, which is good because I'm hoping to be able to break out some sanders and stuff like that. Either on this little jaunt or on the next time I come back down here, because I got to get that cap rail sorted out. It's just so atrocious to see patches of varnish and then patches of bare wood. It's just embarrassing. But yeah, we're feeling pretty good. I'm gonna make some food and I'm gonna get some rest tonight, and then tomorrow we charge hard. We make phone calls. We get things coordinated. It just feels good. That was an awesome trip. Man, that was awesome. We left on the 18th? No. We left on the what day did we leave? I don't even know. I gotta look in my logbook. Hold on. Let's get the logbook out. This is why we do this. People often scoff at me journaling and filling in these logs and doing all this stuff. It only takes 1 minute to fill in your logbook, and you do it every 6 hours. And you know what the nice part is? When I'm old and crotchety and can't remember anything, I'm going to have these records. It's like that movie, the Notebook, kind of. I want to be able to read through these and be like, man, this guy was like crazy. Holy smokes, look at these trips. and then be like, oh my gosh, that's me. All right, so we left at 3 p.m. on the 18th. We arrived here at, I think, noon on the 21st. So that's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Yeah, 3 days. So just under 3 days to do a 400-mile offshore trip. Not too shabby, folks. I'm feeling pretty excited about that. Hit the record run, 224, midnight to midnight. Noon to noon. The top one was 189 miles. So I don't know if that's the one that should only be considered, then so be it. But 224 feels pretty good. Bojangles, you're going to have to get back on the boat, and we're going to have to go back out and see if we can. The goal, honest to goodness, the goal, and the possibility is there, because I like doing these trips down to Florida and stuff, but coming back up, if I could hit 250 miles in 24 hours, that would be epic. For a West Sail, I think that would be quite an accomplishment, really. Oh, wow. Well, I don't know what else there really is to be said. Hopefully you've enjoyed this collection, this collaboration, this series of shorter ramblings throughout this entire voyage, and hopefully it's been of some interest, and I'm not too brain dead to still be entertaining in some semblance. But yeah, we're off and running, and we're headed up to Chesapeake next, and then we are headed back to Michigan, and then we're headed to Chicago, and then we're headed to Lake Superior, and then we are headed back here to North Carolina to then sail up to Cape Cod, and then we're going to see where we go from there. I mean, I'm a planner. I love having my plans, but at the same time, too, I'm starting to realize that if not having your plan 100% sorted out is causing you sort of mental stress like it does to me, I'm trying to get over that and be open to kind of the possibilities of whatever, what's going to happen is going to happen. I think sometimes when I make plans too concisely, or too, like the plan is just there and that's exactly what I'm going to do, and I just carry that out. Yeah, it's great, but I think sometimes there's all these opportunities that are just hiding in the bushes, and I don't see them because I'm not looking at the bushes. I'm looking at the goal. And sometimes when you are open to, like, well, let's see what happens. Let's see, we get the boat up to Cape Cod. We do some speaking stuff up there in August. Well, let's see where we go after that. Let's not try and plan it out right now. We'll be in a stone's throw from Rockland, Maine. We're a quick sail south to get back to like TJ's. There's the possibilities are kind of endless there, and who knows? There's other friends and people who might be able to link up with along the way on the East Coast. I don't know. There's all sorts of cool stuff that can happen. I think if you're willing to just sort of shoot from the cuff, or shoot from the hip. No, wait, how does that saying go? I don't know. But basically, yeah, if you're willing to sort of see, roll the dice and see where the chips lay. God, I'm just full of these horribly incorrect quotes or sayings or anything like that. Jeez. I'm being a real smart Steve over here. I'm being a real incorrect Alan. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Golly. And just big thanks to Mark and Steph and I still can't believe he cleaned the bottom of this boat. Just absolute legend. What a weapon of a thing to do. I mean, that just puts a big smile on my face. And Sparrow never would have hit that record run if we had, a month of barnacle growth on the bottom. That is for sure. Other than that, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for coming along on this voyage. Hopefully the ups and downs and the exhaustion levels don't make me sound like I'm a complete moron. I know I am a little bit, but I try. I'm trying not to be. I try and read, and I try and improve the learning skills and all that sort of stuff. Jeez, yeah, I'm just literally rambling on again. And I have water. I have fresh, clean, purified water. And it tastes so good. Like the first thing I did when I got to the dock, after I tied up, is I grabbed my little pitcher, my Brita filter thing, and I walked right up to the first pedestal, and I was just like, psst, and pour the hose right into it. And oh man, I don't know what was up with that water that I put on board this vessel, but boy, oh boy, was it bad. I don't think it's my tanks. I don't think it's my hoses. I don't think it's my filter. I think it was that water was really just awful. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to see. I'm going to do a test tomorrow. I'm going to empty these tanks, and then I'm going to fill at least one of the tanks back up with water from here, and we'll see what the taste is. If it's still funky though, it's that's going to be a necessity. We're gonna have to replumb Old Mighty Sparrow. I have plastic tanks, which I'm not a super big fan of. I'd rather have stainless steel, but the tanks look clean. There's no growth or anything like that in them. However, the hoses that are connecting all of these things, there's quite a few of them that are pretty well blackened, which I can only assume is like a mold or bacteria or something like that. I don't really know. But I think what the game plan is, I'd like to change out the, it's not a compressor, but it's accumulator tank. Switch that out, and switch out the hoses to a simpler system too, because she's piped for like a water heater, and think about it this way: it's a pretty simple system here. We've 2 tanks, and those 2 tanks then run up to a little T, so you can isolate one tank or the other, which honestly, I don't even see why I would have that. Like, I don't know. I mean, the whole idea of free surface effect isn't too much of an issue here. So I think I'm going to try and simplify the whole plumbing system on here. I'd like to have the 2 tanks, connect those up. That goes directly to the pump, which then goes to the filter, which then goes to the accumulator. I could be wrong in that order. I can't really remember. And then it just splits, and one goes to the galley and one goes to the head, and that's it. That's all you really need. There's no need for all this other stuff. It's all about simplifying. That's what I like. Simple, reliable, and easy. All right. Thanks for listening, and until next time.